So first I'm going to explain the relationship between marginal cost and diminishing marginal product intuitively with some really silly drawings, and then I'm going to show it graphically. So suppose you have a car wash and then you only have one employee, this guy right here, and he needs to use a hose and a sponge to actually wash his car. So when you only have him in every hour, then you can only wash one car. Now, so say you hire a second person, this guy right here. Now, the second person can actually share some of the duties. One can use a hose, one can use a sponge, and they're gonna become more efficient both of them together. So you can now wash two cars with the two of them. Now, say you want to hire a third person. Now, the third person is going to have to wait until one of the other two guys finishes with either the hose or the sponge in order to wash a car. So the third person is not going to be as efficient as the first two. So the addition of the third person only allows you to actually wash half a car more per hour. So clearly what's happening here is diminishing marginal product to the variable input, which is labor. Right? At the beginning, your labor is kind of effective because it's actually using the fixed capital efficiently, but eventually with the third worker and the fixed capital, the workers start crowding out the capital and each additional worker is going to become less efficient. But what does that mean in terms of cost? Well, say you pay each of these workers $10 an hour. Well, in essence, that's the case, and the first car costs you about $10, one worker. The second car, making the second car, also costs you about $10, but the third car actually costs you a lot more. Half of the car costs you $10, so that means that the whole car will actually cost you $20. So what happens here is that when this worker was brought into the production, since the efficiency of that worker was less, the cost of an additional car actually increased. So what we're saying here is that because of that diminishing marginal return to the labor, the marginal cost, which is the additional cost of doing one more unit, in this case one more car, will go up. So that is the idea of the relationship between diminishing marginal product and marginal cost. Since in the short run, you're always going to have limited inputs, or the capital will be fixed, that means that at some point, because of diminishing marginal returns, your marginal cost of production will start going up. So I'm going to explain that with a graph in a different video.